Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the Crusader 5.5-inch SP. It's the Tier 7 British SPG. It's located on the southwest spawn of Arctic region, otherwise known as Mannheim Line, and it's under the command of ProvoBob. Now he's playing with the stock gun. That's the same gun that you find, or same howitzer I should say, you find on the FB304. And also on the Bishop as well. Now, the Crusader is one of the Artys that actually drives in reverse. In fact, it's the only Arty I've seen for a call that actually drives in reverse. It's faster in reverse than it is going forwards. But that does actually make it opportunistic, because it can shoot at the enemy as it's running away from them. And I've actually killed an enemy tank doing that. He was trying to get me. I had the top gun and I blasted around at him with a 5.5-inch howitzer and took him out of the game. And I think I've got that on tape somewhere. It was actually in one of the replays. Well, you can see that that ProvoBob is actually going a long way forward towards the enemy, but he's actually facing the wrong way at the moment. This is turning around. In fact, he's decided he's going to try and shoot over the top of that rock at the enemy tanks on the south end of the map. Now, that's probably not going to be easy to do, and if he pops out here, he might be vulnerable to enemy fire. Now, there are some sets of bushes nearby that he might need to use, and there's some folds in the ground as well. He's decided instead he's going to use this rock for cover instead. Yeah, he should be able to work this one. Now, the Crusader project actually started after the end of World War II. It was cancelled at the prototype stage, so there was no production. It's got a Liberty engine, and it's basically the Crusader tank driving backwards. They mounted the gun at the front of the vehicle, and you can see the driver is actually behind the gun, but he's looking forwards as the thing is driving. So yeah, it's a very odd mount. They've left the engine where the engine would be in the Crusader, but they put the driver about midway. Now this is a very dangerous position to occupy, because the enemy Arty is a Hummel, and he has got the range to take out ProvoBob if he can spot him. Now the enemy tanks haven't seen ProvoBob yet, because he hasn't got a 6th sense warning, but he's got a very limited range. It's a short range on the Crusader SP, so you need to get close to the enemy. Oh, big hit! That's a penetration shot for 524 on the Nashorn. It's 550 alpha for the top gun, but for the stock gun, which we've got here, it's 450 alpha. So he can do considerable damage if he can get a pen shot. The problem is the penetration is only 28mm, and that's kind of a handicap really, because when you get to this tier 7, trying to penetrate enemy vehicles is pretty difficult, even when you're hitting roof armor, because remember these shells are coming in at an acute angle. You really need to place the shell on the weak spot, and hopefully on these tanks it's actually on the engine deck if you can get it. And that Tiger just moved down into the dip, and as he did, he exposed his rear engine deck, and there you can see it even more now. If he can get a shot on target, he could do a lot of damage. Now the good thing about hitting these heavies is that they certainly have plenty of hit points to extract, but the other good thing is that so long as you can keep them disabled, then you might be able to pick up damage assist. I wouldn't say stun assist, because the caliber of this gun is only 114.5mm, which means there shouldn't be any stun at all. In fact, there shouldn't really be stun for the top gun on the Crusader, but there is, because Wargaming did say that they would give stun for anything less than 15 centimeters, and the howitzer on the 5.5 is actually 139mm, 139.7. So technically it shouldn't have stun, but it does. Oh, he got him this time. One of those shots must have hit the boobies and took him out. Now the other great thing, oh, another nice hit there, 90 hit points. The other good thing about the Arty is the reload time. 11.51 seconds is the standard reload, but you can see that ProvoBob's got it down a little bit more. I think it's about 10, is it 10 seconds? 9.68, very close. And our Black Prince is going to go in and finish off that Tiger 1. He stopped him dead. Now ProvoBob can get around in. Oh, no, he doesn't get around in. Now something's happened behind us, and one of the enemy has actually managed to make it into our rear. It's an SP1C. ProvoBob's quickly trying to adjust. That Basotto is having a hell of a time because he's getting hit by the SP1C because he's moving so quickly. ProvoBob fires in, narrowly misses. Basotto's ready for the SP1C this time. He's backed up against the rock. I'm rather expecting that SP1C to go looking for Arty. If he did, he'd go into the woods. Still missing. Oh, he stopped. He backed up. Now that's a bit of a mistake because the Basotto then gets a hit. And yes, ProvoBob finishes him off with a nice accurate shot. So he's got his second kill. Now the action in the north is out of range at the moment, so he's going to have to motor right the way up the centre of the map. There's only 5 enemies left. There's 4 shit seen up in the north, so he's reasonably safe that there isn't going to be anyone popping up out of nowhere. But it certainly would be a good idea for him to get into a cover spot, such as in the gully, and shoot from there. He hasn't been spotted yet. T-25-2's been seen. Okay, just needs to get to a firing position. He's decided to get really close. That way it will increase his ability to hit them. Stop short. In reverse, this thing doesn't drive very quickly, actually. It's fairly slow. 14 kilometers top speed forward, or, you know, driving the other way. And reverse speed is 43.5, and he gets his first hit on the T-25-2, which, as you may have remembered from a previous video I did, the T-25-2 is technically a medium tank, and he's got the kill. And technically he's got a high caliber as well, because he's done enough damage so far, 2,490. So now the enemy are down to 4. He's a little bit out of range of that Tiger P, so he's going to have to get a bit closer. Oh, okay, he's found another one, and it's a budgie. The Polish tier 5, I think, is it tier 5? No, tier 6, isn't it, the budgie? Trying to get the shell over the rock. It wasn't cooperating there, but you can see the budgie did get hit on the turret. It's got a big hole mark there. It's a good thing about the mods. They do actually show the impact points. Okay, he's been tracked. Rounds out. Oh, in engine deck, and a hole in the engine deck's appeared. It wasn't a penetrating shot, but that budgie's down to his last hit points. This could be a kill shot if he gets it on target. Rounds out. Looks good. It is. Yep, that was a goodie. Okay, so he's now looking around for the last enemy, and that's that Tiger P, and he has escaped. He's out and loose. He's on the prowl. And there he is. He's trying to get away. Unfortunately, now everyone's going to be at him, and ProvoBob gets a nice hit for 202. He's tracked. Come on, get the kill shot, ProvoBob. Oh, before he can shoot, the shell goes in, and that's the end of the game. Here's the end of battle result, and that was a first-class tank for ProvoBob in the Crusader 5.5-inch SP. He managed to get a fighter badge because he managed to get at least 4 kills in the game. He got 4 exactly. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 12. He managed to get a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle, as well as a high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game overall. And his win rate from that game was 7,729, which is high super unicum level. A very good result indeed. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see he definitely got the highest damage with 3,141 hit points. The second highest damage turned out to be the T-37, who didn't survive the game, but he got a Confederate in 2,314. And the third highest damage went to that Black Prince, and he did very well indeed, because of course he picked up a Top Gun as well as a steel wall, and his win rate was 4,167, so he really did perform well in that game. Let's have a look. The next one is the kills, and we can see that the Black Prince got the most with 6 kills, and ProvoBob got 4 kills in that one, second highest score, and between them they killed 2/3 of the enemy team, so they were the most effective players in the game. And in third place, joint third place, is a T-37 with 2 kills, along with the SP-1C, the Hummel, and the Tiger P on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, the Black Prince did the best with 1,221. 1,030 went to the T-37. Those were the only two that managed to get over 1,000, but ProvoBob was following up. He managed to get 910 out of his Arty. Unfortunately, because he was using the 4.5-inch gun, although it does have a very good DPM, very high DPM, 2,346, the problem was that you don't get any stuns, so you don't get any stun assist, and that's why he didn't get an ace tanker out of it. I think if he'd actually had the Top Gun, he might have actually got some stun assist, but his damage level wouldn't have been so high. He was getting some lovely shots on the enemy, repeat shots, and that's how he managed to earn such a high amount of HP in the game. He fired 28 rounds, got 17 direct hits on the enemy, and 2 penetrations. I think we saw a couple of those penetrations. He penetrated the Nashorn, 524 from that one. That was quite a biggie. Did he penetrate the... Yes, it was the T-25-2 he got the other one on. 597 off that guy. So 2 very decent penetrating shots on tanks which have fairly light armor. 18 splashes on the enemy as well. 3,141 hit points of damage, of which 1,805 were at more than 300 meters. So you can see he was actually fairly close for 1/3 of the damage, and the others were 2/3 away. So he was trying to stay just outside maximum range, or just inside maximum range. So he had enough distance so the enemy couldn't interrupt him. In fact, so long as if that SP-1C had spotted where he was, he probably would have deserted that Basotto, and he would have actually come over to try and kill ProvoBob instead, because of course ProvoBob would have had difficulty. But of course he could shoot at that enemy tank whilst he was retreating. He hit 8 of the enemy, killed 4, so he missed out on a Confederate by 2. And he earned 39,195 credits from the game, and after ammunition resupply took away 32,195 credits, 1,365 XP, no multipliers, that's all the experience points he took away. So let's have a quick look at the armor for this thing. Okay, well basically it's a Crusader tank which has now been demoted to a light tank rather than a medium. It used to be a medium. And you can see it's basically the tank in reverse, because the howitzer is actually where the front of the vehicle would have been, and they've just moved things around to counterbalance the weight. The howitzer is actually balancing out the weight of the engine. But of course this, as I remember I said, this they never built it for production. It was cancelled at the prototype stage. But this is actually showing... That should actually show it with the stock gun. That's better. There's the stock gun. That's what it looks like with the stock gun. It's a very small howitzer, but it does have a very nice fire rate because it's so small. It's a little easier to handle for the crew because it's basically almost like a 105mm light field howitzer, because it's actually 114.3mm in caliber. So basically, if you look at the armor, you can see the front of the vehicle, 28.3, coming out at about the same. The deck of the engine deck is very thin, 7mm. The sides of the vehicle, 28 again, but it's all flat-sided, so it's the same value. There's no increase in value for it being angled at all. The thing is very vulnerable indeed, and if you put the live version up, yes, you can see just about anywhere you hit this tank or this Arty, it's going to make a bang. It's going to actually do some damage. Here's the module map for the Crusader 5.5 SP, and we can see that the transmission is at the back of the vehicle. Well, technically this is the back of the Crusader light tank, and well, used to be a medium. We've got the engine sandwiched between two fuel tanks as you would in a standard tank, and there's the driver, and in fact the driver's about midway through the vehicle, actually normally where the turret would be, and the commander's alongside him with the radio set. And at the front of the vehicle, as it is now, we've which would have been the front of the vehicle when it was a tank, we've got two loaders and the gunner adjusting the howitzer. The ammo rack is actually between the gunner and the driver, and is right deep down in the tank where the tracks are protecting it. So it's a little difficult to get at the ammo rack, even though you've got to get through the tracks in order to get to it. But the tank is fairly exposed. It's an open SPG, so any HE shell is really going to damage or kill the crew, and a standard AP round going through the hull will probably take out the engine or kill the fuel tank. So this tank this Arty is a little less easy to detonate, unless of course the shell's coming in from directly above, but you can certainly destroy it very easily with HE rounds. I hope you enjoyed that replay. It's a very quick one, but a very good result for ProvoBob. If you enjoyed this replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.